Today, guys, in this episode, we'll be talking about Watson, Freiermuth, and one crazy stat you need to look out for. G'day, guys. Welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia. Bit of a cliffhanger there, but we will be talking about Watson first of all. Freiermuth is coming back to practice, but he's not off IR. The Steelers add back 2 players to the practice squad. It's all happening. But there is some big news I want to talk about, and that's the Deshaun Watson injury. So everyone knows by now. I'm the last person to know because I sleep through all the news in America when it's like 9 a.m. I'm fast asleep. I'm out of it. Zoned out. Goodbye. Good night. Sleeping away. All the news happens. And then I wake up to going, what? Watson's got injured? So he's out for the season. But I want to focus on something here, which is kind of crazy. Let's look back here. The trade. The trade was for like $250 million. I think Watson's already been paid $93 million. The Browns cannot get out of their own way. They've had how many starting quarterbacks since 2000? Like over 25 or something like that, maybe even 30. And this is why I find this whole Kenny Pickett stuff with our Steelers, right? We've got Big Ben for 17 years, and now we want to get rid of Kenny Pickett? Give it time. Give Kenny time, at least 2-3 years, because we don't want to be like the Browns and make crazy mistakes the way they did. But there's one comment I want to make on the Browns. This is the Texans' trade and what the trades they got back for Deshaun Watson. So in 2022, first rounder was Kenyon Green. He's the I believe he's the center. Oh, sorry, he's the guard. Now, I think he's injured. I don't know too much about him. I think he's injured, right? So he was one of their first picks. The first round pick also was the edge rusher, Will Anderson. Now, right now in this season for Anderson Jr., he's already got 20 solo tackles, 31, 2 sacks, 3 tackles for a loss, right? So he's a pretty productive player from that sense. And they also now have the 4th round pick, Damian Pierce. And on the roster for the Texans, what has he got so far? He's like their second back, has 109 carries, 327, 3.0 average. And also the other back is Singletary, who has 359 yards and 3.9. So they're like their 2 backs for Houston. So already pretty massive trade for Watson, who is now injured and not playing good football, right? It's amazing what they got back, to be honest. And they also had 2 in 2023. The 3rd round pick, they got receiver Tank Dell. And in this trade that the Texans got back for Houston, for Watson, right? 2024 1st round pick. So if the Browns do bad, I guess, this year, which will be around the middle of the pack, and 2024 4th round pick for 2024. So that's crazy. Like, that's a pretty good trade for the Houston Texans to set up their franchise, and they're playing good football right now too. And they've got their guy. They've got CJ Stroud, who's having a crazy year with 15 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Like, and he's the rookie. He's going insane. And the Texans are 5-4. So getting rid of Watson and getting all those picks back is a huge win. Huge win. I can't state that enough. Anyways, let's move on. Watson's injured. That's it. We're going to now play, I think, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, DTR. So that will be kind of interesting to see what the Steelers do with that. But let's go into some more news. We have Steelers bringing back Muth returns to practice. Now, Freiermuth isn't off the IR just yet because it says here that he's just returning to practice. Pat Freiermuth will return to practice today but remains on reserve injured list. And we've also signed back DT Braden Fehoko. So Fajoko's back to the practice squad. He didn't start any games. He was on the 53. He never got a hat, but now he's back to the squad. So now I believe with these 2 signings there, Fehoko and Tyler Murray, which is a good story, by the way, I'm going to talk about in just a minute, that puts it back to, I think, 16 players on the practice squad. And we still have 51 players on I believe, the normal squad. It's hard to keep up on the 51 players on the normal squad. So Freiermuth is returning to practice, but not off IR just yet, right? However, I did see this tweet from Missy Matthews. She said, Coach Tomlin said this: I feel good about Pat Freiermuth this week. Is that hinting he could be good to go? So maybe the next few days, I might take him off IR, and it could be a possibility to start against the Browns. But if he's not good to go this week, get him ready for the Bengals, because the Browns game is going to be tough, but get him ready for the Bengals game, and that'd be even better. All right. Now, one thing I did see too, I saw this funny stat via Teresa Varley. It says here, fun story. Linebacker Tyler Murray, who was signed to the squad today, was working at Amazon when he got the call from his agent about the workout with the Steelers. He told his boss he had to leave early. He hasn't had the chance yet to tell his boss about his new job. So the bloke just left the store and said, you know what, I'm going to go to the Steelers for a workout, right? And then got the job. So he's now on the practice squad. And you can't not help root for guys like that. Even though he's on the practice squad, you got to root for him. So I don't think he's going to be making the 53 or anything like that. He's at least on the practice squad. So shout out to Tyler Murray, and hopefully we can learn your story as we go, right? So those are pretty much the big news I wanted to cover. Was Muth was coming back to practice. I did see a video today. He looked a little bit slow, but that's okay. We'll see how it goes. So Freiermuth's coming back. They signed Braden Fahoko and Tyler Murray back to the team. Now, there is one last thing I promised you guys that I was going to talk about, and that is a stat. This stat I found from, it was on Jeff Hartman's Twitter, or a bloke wrote something there. And it's in regards to passing yards and stats and wins and all that kind of stuff, right? So this one's really cool. I found this on Twitter. So it says Blue Steel at SteelJacks says, hey, Jeff Hartman, to illustrate the point of my mailbag offering, I went back and pulled the numbers from the time I became a fan of the Steelers, 1991, until Cowell was handed the Lombardi. There were 21 games greater than 300 yards passing, right? And 152 less than 200 yards passing games. My point to this is, what are we all worried about? What are we worried about in the terms of we have to get 400 yards? I'm sick of seeing that stat. I do not care about that stat. It's now been 57 games, and the Steelers haven't got 400 yards on offense. Who cares? We're winning the games. We're 6-3. We're talking about Kenny Pickett's not throwing the ball and getting 126. Who cares, right? Ever since social media has gotten big now, from 2015, 2016, and fantasy football and the crazy guys like Mahomes, Herbert, anyone like that, Tua, they're all consumed about yards and fantasy points and big plays and getting 500-yard games, stuff like that. At the end of the day, a football game gets played out, and it's your best man against my best man. And right now, our best men being the Steelers are Jalen Warren and Najee Harris, and our offensive line, and also our defense. Pickett, he'll get better. I'm a believer in Pickett. I think he'll get better. But stats like this show you that it means nothing. So from 91 until Cowher got his Super Bowl, right, with in Super Bowl 40, right? So what's that? 20 odd years. 21 games were greater than 300 yards passing. Now, I was a kid back then. I doubt anyone really cared about that, because they were winning football games, or even in times they were losing. Who cares? Who cares? That to me is a great stat. So 21 greater than 300 yards passing, and also 152 less than 200 yards passing. That means they were running the rock, old school Steelers football. Najee Harris, Warren, give Hayward the ball, play action pass. It boggles my mind how we are so consumed about yards, right? I understand yards equal points, or they can equal points because you go down the field to get TDs. But if we're playing a short field from a turnover, and the Steelers, I think, lead turnovers with 18, then that's just the way Steelers football is being played right now. That's crazy to me, man. So I hope you guys like that stat as well. So just to summarize, Houston got a dang bargain, man. All those picks, all those plays for Watson. Freiermuth is coming back to the practice. He starts practicing. He's not off IR yet, so he's still on IR. And the Steelers got back Braden Fahoko and Tyler Murray. Anyways, guys, that's it for today. I'll see you guys throughout the week. We'll talk about DTR and the Browns coming up. Talk about the Steelers versus Browns. It's kind of like now, look, the Browns got they got tough nose defense. They can run the rock too. it's not going to be an easy game. This will not be an easy game at all. Browns are a pretty good team. They're 6-3 for a reason as well. So they just have some problems at quarterback. But if DTR has a good game, doesn't turn the ball over, and they can run the rock, it's going to be a tough game. This game could be 19-17, could be 21-17, anything like that. It could be crazy. Anyways, guys, I'll see you later. Enjoy the rest of your day.